Good morning, it's Thursday and welcome to the Vicarage here at Penn, hoping you are well and you are cheerful today. Now, I don't know what you did yesterday, I had a lovely day off yesterday and I played golf, and you know something, let me show you something. This is the same ball I showed you yesterday. In other words, it did an entire round and I didn't lose it. There we go, it really was an unusually good day yesterday and good day in the sunshine. Anyway, looking forward to a good day today. Now, picking up the readings, the context of this morning's reading is that Jesus, as you know, is in Jerusalem, and he's been there for a few days now. And as you'll find out in the reading, what he does is he basically camps out on the Mount of Olives, which is not very far away. It's about sort of half a mile away. It's nowadays a massive, great graveyard. I believe Robert Maxwell is buried there these days. Anyway, Jesus was camping out there, and during the day he'd come into Jerusalem. As I say, it's not very far, so he'd camp out there, and he came into Jerusalem, and he'd teach in the temple. And as you find in this morning's reading, the people loved him. People used to come and listen to him in large numbers. It was basically the religious leaders that didn't like him. So just get the picture. Jesus is a popular figure coming in every day to speak in the temple, and the people were listening to him. But I'm picking it up at Luke 21, and I'm starting to read at verse 29. Glasses on. Then Jesus told them a parable. Look at the fig tree and all the trees. As soon as they sprout leaves, you can see for yourselves that summer is already near. So also, when you see these things taking place, you know that the kingdom of God is near. Truly I tell you, this generation will not pass away until heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. Be on your guard, so that your hearts are not weighed down with dissipation and drunkenness and the worries of this life, and that day catch you unexpectedly like a trap. For it will come upon all who live on the face of the whole earth. Be alert at all times, praying that you may have the strength to escape all these things that will take place, and to stand before the Son of Man. Every day he was teaching in the temple. At night would go out and spend the night on the Mount of Olives, as it was called. And all the people would get up early in the morning and listen to him in the temple. And this is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Now, Christians have always believed in what we call the second coming. We believe that Jesus came on earth, as we know, born as a baby and lived on earth and died on earth and so on. But Christians have always believed that Jesus Christ will return. As we say in the communion service, Christ has died, Christ is risen, Christ will come again. And yesterday's reading, we missed it because it was Mary Magdalene's day, so we missed that bit of the reading, is a bit more of a description about Jesus talking about the end of Jerusalem, but also about what's going to happen when he returns. And I think what is very clear from this is that when Jesus does return, it's going to be very, very different. There are going to be difficult times. First, there's going to be great tribulation, but afterwards, Jesus will reign supreme, that he will be enthroned, that he will be more and more King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Not only will he be King of Kings and Lord of Lords, but he will be clearly for all to see. Every eye shall see that he is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And that day will be a day of great, for Christians, that will be a great day of vindication. That will be a day that we will finally be able to see, everyone will see abundantly clearly that Jesus Christ was King, and that by following Jesus, we were following the King. So that will be a great day, as Jesus says, when that day comes, hold your head up high, he says, for your day of vindication is near. So the return of Christ is a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's going to be difficult times to come. On the other hand, it will be our final vindication. Christ will then reign supreme. He will truly be obvious clearly as Christ the King. But what of us? Well, I think Jesus is saying here is that no one knows when he will return. He says elsewhere that even he does not know when he will come back. Only the Father knows. And in this reading this morning, it's also talk about in this generation will not pass away and so on. And there's a bit of a complicated thing as to what that means. But Jesus himself does not know he will return. But one thing he does know for sure is that return he will. And the same is true with us, actually. We do not know when he will return, but we know that he will one day. And the name of the game, folks, I suppose for us, is to be ready when he does. To make sure that when he comes back, we are not caught unaware. We're not, so to speak, caught with our pants down, if you know what I mean. That we are ready for him when he comes. And I think what that means when we talk about dissipation and worries and things, let's make sure that our eyes are focused on Jesus. Let's make sure that our lives are straight, so that whether he comes back in 1,000 years' time, 50 years' time, or 2 o'clock this afternoon, that we're ready to meet him when he comes. He also says, though, that keeping focused is difficult. Well, of course it is. The Christian life has never been easy, and keeping focused on Jesus, when we do have all these temptations and frustrations around us, is a challenge. But very clearly in this reading, he tells us to pray. At the end of the day, folks, we need God. I said yesterday we need each other, and we do, but we also very much need God as well. And the way to keep in touch with God, the way to keep tuned into God, is to pray. And that's what we need to do. And yes, we need to pray together. We need to pray as individuals, and we can pray all the time. Anytime, any place, anywhere, as the advert used to say. But I always say, if you're praying when they're driving in the car, just make sure you please pray with your eyes open if you're driving at the same time. But the only way that we are going to have the strength to keep going all the way to the end is through prayer, through God. And so, my friends, we do not know when Jesus will return. No one knows. Even Jesus doesn't know. But we do know that he will. He will return. He will come back. We need to make sure that we're ready for him when he does. We need to keep our eyes focused on him. But the way to do that is to keep talking to him and keep listening to him. Difficult reading this morning. I hope it makes some sense. Do feel free to make comments at the bottom. But Christ has died. Christ is risen.